y'all, welcome to music. This is going to be a short video just going over what we need to do today. Before we start, I want you to read pages 59 to 61 in your textbook so you know what we're talking about. Go ahead and do that. You can pause the video. Alright, you should have read it. We're talking a lot about rhythm. So we are talking about, remember how we talked about earlier how music is regular and noise is irregular. And in the same way, music has rhythm, while noise normally does not have rhythm. So if I just hit the keyboard, here, went here, and then here, there's no rhythm, right? But if I play a song like, there's rhythm, and it sounds good. Rhythm is not only the repetition of a single sound, like this. It can also be the repetition of a certain pattern. So, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is a pattern, and that's how you can make songs with like different patterns that repeat themselves. There's a lot of examples of rhythm, like the changing of the seasons and the ocean tides and the ocean waves and the rising and the setting of the sun. There's so many examples of rhythm. So in exercise 19, you need to show whether the action that's happening is rhythmic or not. So be thinking about the action that it's saying. So like water dripping from a faucet. Is that rhythmic? Will it continue at a steady pace? Or ask yourself, will the action that's happening not continue at a steady pace, like it might happen now, and then now, and then now, like it doesn't happen at a regular interval. I also want to talk about a pulse. A pulse means beat. We choose, so think of the 5 notes that we learned. We have whole, half, quarter, eighth, and 16th. We choose one of these notes to be our pulse note. Whatever note is our pulse note, it means it has 1 pulse. We're going to choose the quarter note to be our 1 pulse note. Or we're going to, for our pulse note, that means it has 1 beat. So, it's 1 beat. If we play a half note, that means that a half note would have 2 pulses. Because there's 2 quarter notes equals a half note. So it'd be 1, 2. That would be 2 pulses. If we go up to the whole note, 4 quarter notes equals 1 whole note. So it'd be 4 pulses or 4 beats. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. If we go down to 8th, it'd be a half a pulse. It gets faster. And then 16th note would be 4th a pulse. It'd be faster and faster. On letter A, go to exercise 20, letter A. Use marks to show how many pulses each note or arrest should get. The first staff is started for you. Okay, so you can be using your textbook as an example on how to do this and how to show how many pulses each note gets. So I'm going to play letter A for you. I'm going to count, and you can hear how many pulses each note gets. So I'm going to go ahead and start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. You need to go through these 2 scores and mark the pulses for each note. You can try to figure out using your textbook. Remember that the quarter note, if it's a quarter note, it gets 1 pulse. If it's a half note, it gets 2 pulses. If it's a whole note, it gets 4 pulses. What you can do to check yourself, you can do the 2 scores and then go back and listen to me counting, and it needs to match. So it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4. You need to count your pulses and see if it matches what I'm saying. Right below the 2 scores, it says how many marks did you put above each measure. Now remember, a measure is a part of music separated by a measure bar. Your answer should be 4. If you look between 2 measure bars, you should have 4 pulses marked. The number of pulses in each measure of a song is the same, so each measure has 4 pulses. Let's go to letter B. Write rhythm, pulse note, or pulse before each definition. So number 1, 1 regular beat or movement in music. Okay, so that would just be, or it could be more chords, or it could be even more chords. If I can get it. Okay, it's just pulse. Pulse or beat means the same thing. So number 1 is pulse. Number 2, anything regular that happens again and again. So that can make beautiful songs like... Okay, so that can make all kinds of different songs that we sing or that we play. Number 2 is rhythm. Number 3, the note that is chosen to be equal to 1 pulse. That needs to happen, so then that tells us how many pulses each of the 5 notes get. That answer is called pulse note. So in this case, the quarter note is a pulse note. It must get 1 beat. So like 1 beat. Number 3 is pulse note. All right, please do exercise 19 and 20. Thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, let me know. See y'all.